Okay, I'm going to show you a few important adjustments you're going to have to know on this machine. I got you a couple of tool kits put together. I got another one down here I'm going to supply you with a couple of wrenches. The tools I have here will just about rebuild the whole machine, just about. Anyway, before you do any adjustments, make sure it's discharged. Sometimes the performance of the machine decreases and it makes a lot of hissing here, but it rarely arcs. And all you have to really do is wipe the dust off. That creates a leakage point. And it'll start firing right back up immediately. And if you're in a dusty area, it'll suck the dirt right back to it. You're going to have to constantly clean it. Now, you know, if you loosen these thumb screws, you can adjust your spark gap and get these aimed at each other the right way. There's a set screw down in here. These adjust your collector combs. Down here. These will adjust these combs in and out, up and down. You can get your comb spacing however you want. I like to leave about 1/4 of an inch. The most critical adjustment you need to be aware of are these neutralizing brush assemblies here and here. If you stand back there. Notice the angle of this assembly to this assembly. This angle here needs to be between 30 and 60 degrees. The closer you are up to 30, the higher the voltage, the longer the arc you're going to get. But it drops the current level down. And it's also more susceptible to high humidity, and it's harder for the generator to charge. If that becomes a problem, you can lower these back down more towards 60 degrees. Your arc will be shorter, your voltage is lower, but your current will be higher, and it will more readily excite on its own. Also, these brushes need to make contact with the disc. There are set screws up here on the brushes that can be loosened. You can slide these in and out. There's a set screw on this collar and one here that you can loosen and bring the whole assembly in and out, and also adjust your angle. But these do need to make contact, and the angle of this is very critical. And also what I have found is that as soon as this metal sector here comes up and touches this brush, one needs to be coming up here and touching this brush. And this timing is critical for getting a very well performing machine. And I've tweaked with it, and we've had the machine up to 6 inches before we started having problems with things arcing over here. But this is all a chain drive unit, so yes, you can time this thing to where a sector is hitting all 4 brushes at the same time, and that is critical for high performance. These brushes are made out of solder wick. You can get that from your local Radio Shack or McMaster. It's just a copper braid. If you do that, make sure it's unfluxed. Otherwise, it's going to put black streaks on here quickly. Also, over time, you will see black streaks on here. You can clean that off with rubbing alcohol, because that black going across the disc will short out the sectors, and you're going to have a hard time getting the generator to charge and to perform properly. This machine is all a chain drive. Underneath this stainless steel cover is a sprocket, 2 sprockets in a chain. Same thing back here. It all goes into a gearbox located here in the bottom that increases the speed, and it causes the counter rotation. And I believe the gear ratio is set up to where 1 turn of the crank down here will cause the disc to spin 5 times. You should not ever need to crank the generator no more than 3 turns per second. The discs have a little wobble, and in shipping and getting banged around, they're going to have a little wobble. So if you turn it to high speeds, it literally vibrates and it just doesn't run right. Also, when you first set up at a show, you need to make sure your discs don't rub. If you just look around down here, there are set screws and ways to adjust all that. It's fairly simple. On this discharger here, this is what fires the bearing demo. See, there's an arm on each side. It's a piece of rubber fuel hose here that creates that flexible linkage joint and also insulates it from the electricity from shocking you through the handle. You can slide that hose up and down the shaft if you want these to make contact at the same time. It's very easy to adjust. And then another side note is, the good thing about having a generator in a case is safety, and it helps keep the dust off the machine. The bad thing is when the machine's surrounded with this much steel and nuts and bolts, it drains charges off the machine. And we actually had problems with it arcing. That's why all this has got plastic in here now. And all these bolts have ground wires going in between the plastic and the wood, so all the bolts are grounded, so you should be safe from that. And just remember that a clean and dry and low humidity is the best way to operate the machine. Keep it clean. You can blow this out with compressed air. And everything's fully adjustable. All the shafts and the whole thing are oil hardened drill rod riding on needle bearings, roller bearings. It's all been greased and lubed. But you can adjust all the chain tensions in the whole machine. There's a whole gearbox in the bottom. I've got pictures of that I'll have to show you. But that's it.